Hello team and welcome back to another Line War cast. This is your map today in a 1v1 between akamisc in blue and Animorph in red. This is from the quarterfinals of the T2 2024 tournament that's going on right now, and we're running this on 2x speed. Animorph's in the center of the map in red. I don't have my cursor again. I wonder if this is like a new thing that I don't have the cursor ever. But Animorph's in red with the two docks, the town, the airport, and the barracks on the way as well. And then akamisc is to the right with the two docks. Two barracks in the town, and then this farm on the center little island. We cast another game between akamisc and Animorph earlier on the channel, I believe. This game in particular is an interesting one. You gotta wait until the end, of course, spoilers, to figure out what goes on in this game. But this, again, from the quarterfinals, both players trying to find their way to the semifinals. You can check out in the description, there's a bracket. Spoilers are there. Two transport boats for Animorph. Animorph's going to head off, probably get these infantry onto this top rightmost island, and that's exactly what we see from red. And then maybe some more infantry to the left. Although it looks like the plan for Animorph in the top left is to use this move command with the commando and the transport plane as the receiver to do some commando drops to get there. akamisc has the barracks on the bottom right island, which starts capping for blue, and if we zoom out, this is what both players are looking at. So pretty much all at the same time, as soon as the second commando for red shows up, Animorph's going to be on 4 different land masses. These two on the right going to be heavily contested from AK. AK doesn't know this is happening yet. This is blue's vision. And then first refinery for AK being built in the mountains. Animorph already has this red refinery set up. And there we go. It's a heavy navy game, so both players will have to be very careful about their energy consumption, and will have to secure more refineries to build. And it's a question of how well Animorph's going to be able to get dug in on this center right island. Here comes the barracks to get some more units here, and then there's 2 more transport boats full of units that are on their way. The blue navy might intercept these transport boats, but probably not before they drop off the 8 infantry. This is blue's vision, so akamisc has an idea that Animorph is doing these landings, and a helicopter is complete for Animorph. There's no missile boats with this yet. It's just 3 destroyers and a cruiser. And a big challenge for me in this game, not to call Animorph akamisc and not to call akamisc Animorph. We'll see how long that lasts. Transport boats are getting in the mix. They're taking a fight, which could be okay. There's not a huge use for the transport boats anymore for red because of these commando drops that can happen. But the cruiser does destroy the barracks, which is a pretty big deal. It was a little bit too close to the shore. I don't really know if there's another place Animorph could have built that to save it. And we've seen before in these games how the naval balance is so important. If you lose all your boats very quickly, it can snowball out of control. Animorph ran out of energy for a little bit, so the boats are going to stay put for a second. And you can see that the transport planes for red can reach, I believe, both of these islands on the left-hand side. akamisc going up to 3 docks and building another town. It's helicopters from blue, which will be very helpful in defending this landing attempt from Animorph. But it's run out of steam at this point. And it's unclear whether red's going to build another producer on the center island. It makes a lot of sense. If we zoom out, red will have to take this part of the map in order to win the game, I think, is how this is going to go. On the left-hand side, there are a few trade routes that red can get set up. These 3. And then we also saw Animorph building eco in the bottom left. There's only 1 missile boat here for AKA. 2 missile boats, rather. They take off 1 helicopter. And the second helicopter destroys the other 2 missile boats, which is very nice for red. It's a mix of helicopters and interceptors for Animorph. And akamisc lands those infantry in the top left, but they are destroyed by the commandos very quickly. This is Animorph's vision. You can't really see it because we're on 2x speed, but the commandos are invisible, so they weren't able to be seen. Animorph has this barracks set up. This is a very natural location that red could back up and put a defensive line in this mountain range. Entrenchments in the mountain range have extra bonuses, I believe, on defensive stats. And for now, it's a little bit of a stalemate in the northern part of the map. Animorph using these defensive lines super effectively as the infantry, but 2 helicopters, perfect amount for this, and Animorph backs out of the defensive lines. The interceptors can't quite reach the blue helicopters. And what's going on in the rest of the map? There's some industry being built down in the bottom for Animorph, and then Animorph's also on this island. So the trade routes could start getting set up anytime now. All the territories that Red needs are captured, pardon me. So Animorph just needs to decide when to build those towns. A lot of cruisers here from Animorph. The helicopters for blue are thankfully in range for akamisc, so there's no real hazard of losing these docks. If it was just the boats, though, you can imagine how Animorph would just be able to roll through this blue navy and then destroy all the other blue docks, and it would make it a very difficult game from that point for akamisc. If red is lucky, one of the docks will get destroyed. The interceptors here for red are actually in position to kind of deal with the helicopters if they took this route. I don't know why one of them went home. It just got bored. And this is going to be 3 dead cruisers. They were able to destroy one of the docks, but akamisc is on top of this, just rebuilding that dock and staying calm. Nice pick off from akamisc to destroy that 1 barracks and 2 factories for Animorph. Kind of puts AK not on a timer necessarily, but blue will probably not want to let these factories stay up forever and start producing an army. There's no other landings really going on. Animorph's nearly on all the islands to the left-hand side, and there is one of the towns being built that's part of the trade network. And pretty nice pickup from Animorph, who's going to get this 2nd dock as well. And again, these defensive lines, these little impromptu defensive lines for red, allowing red to trade more efficiently, but Animorph's lost all control of these territories on the center island. So no producers there for Animorph. There's a chance that red would start building transport boats to ferry some of these factory units over to the southern island. But for now on the northern island, red's kind of dealing with a huge push from akamisc. If there was full naval control, red could just pull up these cruisers to this little choke and destroy a lot of the blue units as they try to get through. It's kind of what Animorph's going to do now, but there are some boats and helicopters for akamisc. And blue might decide to jump on this navy, and that is the plan. Both players expending a lot of resources into the north, and you can see Animorph's doubling down again, realizing that this is very important. But I don't think it's going to work. The red navy's getting chased away. The blue army on the northern part of the map is clearly winning this fight. And likely see a backup from the red navy and go into a more defensive position. So nice hold from akamisc. Losing that top northern part of the island would be problematic. And can these commandos get the town? No, they can't. Nice save from AK. And we don't often see it, but there's a disband command from red with the commandos as the receiver. So those 4 commandos or whatever was up there on the top left, they have voluntarily removed themselves from the game and freed up some income for red. There's a lot of helicopters. A lot of helicopters for blue as well, and this one interceptor gets 2 of the helicopters from red. Might even get a 3rd one. And does. And Animorph has kind of just stayed calm and just rebuilt all these producers. It's been very expensive for red but it's such an important part of the map to have control over, especially as the game goes deeper. One more barracks potentially destroyed, and it is. And then these 3 cruisers from blue are going to get cleaned up. There's more commando drops that Animorph's going to try to do on that town in the top left of the picture right now, and nice pickup from Animorph to destroy this refinery. Still not much action on the left-hand side. And AK is going to drop commandos to pick up these 2 territories on the bottom island. Every territory helps with the eco, and at this point kind of a split map. Because of how many trade routes there are on the left-hand side with these 2, it could be an advantage for Animorph as the game goes on, if Red's able to set up those trade routes. And we can't check the ecos. I don't have the cursor, so I can't click on the thing in the top right. And they dock in the south for AK. Something that we haven't seen in this game is submarines. Usually in a big naval game like this, you'll see a sub pen at some point. Here's another massive naval fight, but Animorph wisely backs up. And AK is, I assume at this point, finally going to clean up all this red army in the northern little island. And so the game kind of resets a little bit. A dock in the south for Animorph building transport boats, and here comes a commando drop from AK who's going to spot this once the commandos drop out of the airplane. That second town on the trade route with these dotted lines being set up now, and the port in the bottom here is being constructed. And you'll see just how good of vision 2 commandos dropping out of a transport plane get. They don't see the factory because the factory's in the mountain range. And both players kind of positioning their navies. I guess they're going to go for the fight now. There's 2 more cruisers and a handful of missile boats for Animorph, but I don't think either player is really going to commit here. You can see and hear the beep beep from blue. So akamisc is a little bit low on energy, which means the helicopters aren't able to get involved in this fight. Luckily for blue, I guess only one of the cruisers is doing the low energy thing with the black plumes of smoke. When a unit makes black plumes of smoke like that, it'll take 50% more damage over the next 5 seconds. And nice cleanup from Animorph, who might be able to push and destroy more of the docks. So AK is just running by the commandos, is going to be able to pick up this farm and then head over to the main base. And did I say Animorph? Did I say Animorph with these commandos? I meant akamisc. Did I just ruin the thing? I guess by, like, checking if I did ruin the thing, I kind of did ruin the thing about not mixing up these players' names. It's just that they both start with A. That'll be my defense. That's my excuse for this. There's a lot of units for blue on the top here now. This is probably going to be a transport boat that comes out of this dock for blue. There's 2 commands. There's one that's a transport boat, and then there's also one that is a destroyer reception. So a destroyer reception on the command. So blue's going to start trying to take a lot of this territory. A lot of the water territory is still up for grabs. And this trade route on the far left is now complete, and the trade route in the center is also complete. So Animorph's going to be getting a lot of income pretty soon here. Red also going for a landing close to the energy. And akamisc still dropping more commandos. Nice pickup from Animorph with the missile boats. And with the help of one of the helicopters. Landing here is going to be very difficult for Animorph. It's going to be 8 infantry that aren't even able to land because they're kind of body blocked by the infantry from blue. And at the end of it's 5 docks in the north for blue and 4 docks in the north for red. First transport boats are moving. And this is pretty big. That this single commando for AK has gone unnoticed and is going to destroy this refinery. I can't imagine it destroys the town in the middle of the map for red. And top down, still a little bit of split map, but notably 3 infantry for AK got to the far left and captured that territory. We could see an airport on that territory for blue, because an airport with helicopters would be able to destroy this one town. There's a city for Animorph in the top left, and first sub-pen of the game for Animorph as well. This is kind of nice for Animorph. Unfortunate timing that this one destroyer shows up and can't destroy the transport jet before, or the transport boat before the units land, but will destroy it on the way out. And with 3 helicopters, actually, it's a lot of helicopters for Animorph on the way. Red's going to be able to get situated in the bottom of the picture. This is a big fight. Red is out of energy, so the blue boats are going to trade a little bit better. Until the blue boats, of course, run out of energy, which also stops this landing attempt from happening. There's so many units for blue. If they can get across to the top left, this is a lot of economy that akamisc will be able to destroy. And top down, still the view we're getting. It's 2 barracks from AK, which now makes me feel like this is going to be a dock that's built on the far left to build more transport boats. And probably missile boats as well, because Animorph could use Air Force to defend against whatever drops happen in the bottom left. These 2 destroyers could super get sneaky for AK and destroy that refinery as well. Still no sub-pen from akamisc, which isn't super weird or anything, but this is a good landing from blue. And akamisc can't see the submarine pen for red because that's stealth characteristic that the sub-pens have. These blue units would have to, like all of them, would have to get pretty close to that building to actually see it. And I think overall this is not good for blue. A lot of the helicopters are going to go down. It doesn't really soften up the Navy at all. And still, Animorph is getting a second barracks, or has got a second barracks on this territory. And top down, the first transport boats are moving. Well, it's just the single transport boat from before, but it's going to be plenty of units that get across here. There's no real way that Animorph's going to be able to defend this. There's no helicopters that are in range. And like decent progress from akamisc, who has spotted the submarine pen. Destroyers are the best against submarines with their depth charges. So blue more than likely going to be able to destroy that red building. There's still a handful of subs for blue that are left over. But this is nice. The trade route is destroyed. And the port was also destroyed here. Somehow. Obviously I missed something. akamisc would have destroyed this port, but that's huge because this takes a lot of eco away from red. And so far, I would have thought that Animorph was in control in this game. Blue resetting the eco is a pretty big deal. The city still exists, but blue might actually be able to destroy it here as well. And pretty intense game, a lot of stuff going on. Fights all over the map. Very difficult to see whose subs are... Well, I guess blue's not made subs, so any subs we're seeing must be red subs. And Animorph didn't lose full control of the top left island. We were seeing that red was dropping commandos here to try to defend. There's now 2 helicopters that are working on it. But this is a nice play from blue. its destroyers out of the docks after one of the transport boats. And still this huge stalemate between these two navies. So earlier I said that Red might be able to use transport boats to move the Red Army on the northern island to this southern island, but it's actually going to be Blue who does this. It's just energy problems for AK, who loses this town, doesn't have this water territory to cap, and nice pickup from Animorph to find this dock. These two subs will probably be able to destroy the dock before another destroyer for Blue is spawned out of that building. And this is a rather big moment. 4 destroyers getting shelled by 2 artillery pieces. 2 artillery pieces certainly not enough to destroy the boats before they destroy the town. And this one destroyer in the bottom left isn't going to be able to destroy this refinery anymore because this cruiser popped out. The question now becomes, can Animorph get this trade route back up? Clearly Blue's going to take a lot of this territory back, but there's an opportunity for Animorph to dig in closer to the producers on either side on both of these chokes. A cursor would have made that easier to show what I'm saying. And top down, this is the map. 4 helicopters for Animorph that are landing on this island that will be able to destroy this over time, this dock, and then leave all these infantry for Blue stranded. And then these cruisers would be able to destroy the Blue barracks. And this is just a stalemate. There's enough boats for Red that it'll be very difficult for Blue to push, and too many Blue units for Red to actually push. It's just the energy problem for Red is a major thing. It's also a major thing for Blue as well, though. So I don't think either player has an advantage on the naval part of things. Or rather, the ability to use the Navy. And here's your spoilers. There's a DC in the game. And this is what the graphs are looking like. So who do you think won? Who do you think was in a better position in this game? Units lost, relatively similar. Very close game, very good game. Props to both players. GG, well played. It was a DC in the tournament. I'm not sure how it was dealt with. But again, quarterfinals match between AK, Misk, and Animorph, both very good players. And yeah, again, well played. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for supporting the channel any way you do it. Liking, subbing, commenting. It all helps the channel grow. And check out the Line War Discord if you'd like to learn more about the game. But have a wonderful night, day, evening, whatever it is. And again, who do you think was in a better position? Do you and was it already over? Peace, folks. Enjoy.